Okay, so today in Finite, we reviewed what a number line is. So go ahead and write down these definitions in your notes. And then you're also going to write down all of these notes for inequality symbols and things like that. So while you're doing that, I will explain everything. So a number line is just an illustration of your numbers, exactly that. So in the next slide, you'll see an example number line, but you probably remember from middle school, and then we've graphed and such in high school and algebra as well. So look at the second bullet right here. So this one is red, A is less than B. Remember with your inequality signs, if your inequality sign is pointing to your number, that means it's less than. So in the case of our number lines, A is going to be less to the left of B on the number line. So you can remember that, less and left, okay? Now the next one, A is greater than B, is how that one is read. So if our inequality sign is opening up towards the number or the letter, that means it's greater. So A is going to be to the right of B on a number line. Now, when we add this little line underneath, that is equal to. So this means that A is less than or equal to B. Okay, so same thing on the next one. This one means A is greater than or equal to B because our inequality sign is opening towards A, and it also has that equal to sign on the bottom. And this is just an example of a number line right here at the bottom. See how as we move to the left, the numbers get smaller, okay? And then as we move to the right, the numbers get larger, which goes along with what we talked about a second ago, that if your A is smaller, it's going to be to the left of B on the number line, okay? If your number is bigger, it's going to be to the right on the number line. Okay, so now we're going to look at a few examples to make sure we understand the concept of the number line. So look at example 1A. 8 is less than 10. Is 8 less than 10? Yes, it is. So that is true. For B, we have -6 is less than -8. If we put that on a number line, is -6 further to the left than -8? No, it's not. Okay, so that one would be false because on our number line, we have 0 right here, and so we're going to the left as we go. So if we're going by twos, 2, 4, 6, this would be -6, and this would be -8. So -6 is actually greater than -8, which is why that would be false. Now for C, we have -2 is less than or equal to -2. -2 and -2 are equal, so that one is true. Okay, now look at an example 2. We're going to graph some intervals on a number line. And our first one is 1 is less than x is less than 5. So we're going to come over here to our number line, and we don't have any equal to signs, right? So our circle is going to be open on 1 because it does not include 1. It's just x is greater than 1. And then go over here to 5. Same thing, there's no equal sign, so our circle is open. And we're going to shade in between both of them to show that it's including the interval of numbers between 1 and 5. Okay, now look at our next example. We have another interval. This one's just written a little bit differently. So this means we're graphing the interval from -2 to positive infinity. So whenever we are graphing, it does not necessarily matter what is on our number line. We just need to make sure that the interval or the actual number is there. So we're going to start with -3, -2, -1, 0, and just keep on going until we fill in our number line. Okay, so then we look at our starting number. It's -2. So we are going to make an open circle at -2. And then we are going how far up? We are going to positive infinity, which is forever, right? It's continuous. So we are just going to shade this entire number line. And we're going to shade all the way over, including the arrow. Okay? And then that is how you graph the intervals. All right, now let's talk about absolute value and how it relates to our number line. Absolute value is the distance from A to 0 on a number line. And that being said, that's like having the absolute value of A. So whatever number is here, or letter, it's the distance from whatever's inside to 0 on the number line. Absolute value is always going to be positive because distance is positive. Okay, so we're going to look at example 4A, the absolute value of 3. So if you have positive 3 on your number line, how many units away from 0 is it? It's 3 units away from 0, so the absolute value of 3 is simply 3. Look at B, the absolute value of negative 2. So if you have negative 2 graphed on your number line, how many units away from 0 is it? It's only 2, so the absolute value of negative 2 is 2. So in example C, we have to simplify what's inside first. So 7 minus 9 is actually negative 2. So we have the absolute value of negative 2, and so the absolute value of that is positive 2. So that would be your final answer. I hope all this kind of helped refresh your memory about number lines and absolute value. Go ahead and complete your assignment and make sure it's uploaded to Google Classroom by the due date.